Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now let's move on to the next part of the project, which is adding a visitor counter to the web page. So this part makes the resume site feel more dynamic and alive because you can actually see how many people have visited the web page. So let's take a look at the HTML side. In my index.html file, I created a small section near the bottom of the page with this line. That's the visitor count, loading visitor count. So this simple element acts as a placeholder. When someone opens the page, it first says loading visitor count, and then my JavaScript will replace that text with the actual number of visitors pulled from the backend. Now let's look at the JavaScript part, which it's in this script.js file. So inside the script, I created a function called update visitor count. This function runs automatically when the page finishes loading. Here's what it does. So it sends a fetch request to my backend API, which is hosted on the Google Cloud Run using this line of code. That's the await fetch and the link to the API. So what happens next is that the API sends back a JSON object that contains the visitor count, basically a number that represents how many people have visited the site so far. Once that data is received, the JavaScript grabs the count property and updates the text inside the HTML element we saw earlier, and that is achieved with this line. A counter element that text content equals to visitor count plus data count. So for example, if Firestore says 500 people have visited, then the page will display visitor count as 500. So I also made sure to add a bit of error handling, because sometimes the API might fail. For example, if there's a network issue or the backend is temporarily down. So in that case, instead of the page breaking or showing nothing, it will display a friendly message that says error loading visitor count. That way the users still have a smooth experience. And just to make the web page feel a bit more interactive, I added a scroll to button feature. So that's the orange button at the top that says view visitor count. So when the user clicks it, the browser smoothly scrolls down to the section where the visitor count is located. And that's done with this section of code here that contains the scroll interview. So it's a small detail, but it adds a nice touch to the user experience. So now the front-end part of the visitor counter is done. The HTML gives us the structure and the JavaScript handles the logic and interactivity. But if you think about it, the visitor counter is only possible because something on the backend is keeping track of that number. And that's where the next stage comes in. So in the next video, I'll walk you through how I built the backend API with Python and on Google Cloud Run, and how it connects to Google Firestore to store, update, and retrieve the visitor count each time someone visits the site. So see you in the next video.